Alright everybody, so this time around I'm going to show you how we program a Bally Midway Special Force pinball machine. This kind of works for the majority of the Bally pinballs around this era. 86 is when this one came out. It's the 6803 system, so it should all be the same. The first thing you got to do is you got to open up your coin door, and inside here you have a controller. So you're going to grab that off, and you'll notice the controller has game, keyboard clear, 0, enter, A, B, C, D, E, F, star, and then 1 through 9. Alright? And those are going to be how you navigate through all your different options and how you set your different value numbers and stuff. In order to get into the programming mode, you need to go inside the coin door, and next to your volume potentiometer is a little black button. It depends, it might be a different button. Somebody could have replaced it with anything, a red button or so on. But there's going to be a little button right inside here you'll press that enters into the options mode. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is set you guys up on the tripod and put you right at the displays so you can see all the stuff we do as we go through it. So, we'll be right back. Alright guys, so got you set back up again. My battery on my camera is about to die, so hopefully we can get through this before it dies. If not, well, we'll make it clip out, don't worry. Either way, so we're back into it. You're right at the display now. You're going to press that little button on the inside of the coin door to go into the program mode, and this is what you're going to see. Bally testing is easy as A, B, C. You know, you press A to move forward, B to go backwards, and C is for cycle. And cycling is only for certain options inside the settings. Like if you do a test setting, you can cycle through the lamps or cycle through the solenoids. That's pretty much what it's for, okay? So we're going to press A, and the first one is bookkeeping. We don't need that. Now, as I press A, I'm going to cycle through each option. The first thing we want to do is go to feature options. And the reason being is we need to do a factory reset. I already replaced the battery on this game with a brand new button cell battery, and anytime you do something like that, or anytime you go and replace the controller board or whatnot, you're going to have to go through and reset the game to factory before you go and reprogram all the other stuff. If you don't do that, you'll have some wonky little issues like certain things you set up won't work properly, or the game just won't function properly. Now, the universal reset code for a Bally Midway, especially of this era, is number 65. So you're going to press in 65, and on the top right of your control little panel, you're going to press in enter. As you can see, it changed to 65. Now from here, I'm just going to go through all these real fast and go back. And now we're going to go into basic options. So, our basic options. The first one, balls per play. Set up at 3 right now. I'm going to go ahead and leave it at 3 because that's what I feel is best. Let's see here. Actually, the very first one before that would be the credit limit. And we're setting ours up for free play, so I'm not worried about any kind of credit limit. If you have it on site and you want a credit limit, you can put whatever number of credit limits you want. Anywhere from 0 to 99. Oh no, sorry, 0 to 9,999,999. Thresh mode. Okay? Now, your threshold mode is either 0 through 3. 1 is points, 2 is extra ball, and 3 is replay. What this means is you break a threshold, or as in a high score, or a set score for, like, let's say you set it up at 1 million, then you get a bonus from that. And you can decide what it is. You can either get bonus points, you get an extra ball to play, or a replay. So if you're on location, you can set up replay if you want. 1 is points, 2 is extra ball, and 3 is replay. Since this will be set up on free play, I'm going to do extra ball, which is 2. Alright, now the next one is special mode. Same thing. Basically, if you hit a special, you get to choose if you want points, an extra ball, or a replay. Number 2 is also going to be extra ball. Same reason, it's free play, so I'm putting it on that. High score mode, if you set a high score, that's 0 through 3 as well. 1 is replay, 1 is 1 replay, 2 is 2 replays, and 3 is 3 replays. I'm going to go ahead and set this as 0 because we're on free play. So there's no reason to get an extra ball if you get a high score. Sound mode. Now the sound mode depends on how you want the sounds to play. As it's set at 8, which is just random like that, means nothing's going to happen at all. You have a 0 through 3. 0 is chimes without background. 2 is sounds without background. And 3 is sounds with background. Oh, and number 1 is chimes with background. And what we're doing is number 3. We're doing sounds with background. German prize mode, we're not worried about that. Match option, it's a 0 or 1. 0 is disabled, 1 is enabled. I'm going to go ahead and enable it. Even though it's a free play mode, I just do that anyway, so if somebody buys it and they want to make it as coin game, then I don't have to change this. I just need to change the coin option. What this basically means is at the end of each game, you get a chance to match your last 2 numbers. If you get a match, you get an extra credit. Alright. Credit display. 0 or 1. 0 is no credits displayed. 1 is credits displayed. Again, I'm putting it as 1, just in case. Free play. Free play, 0 or 65. 0 means coins, 65 means free play. So we're going to make it 65 because we want it to be free play. Slingshots on or off. Those are your lower slingshots by your flipper. And if you look, it's 0 or 1, meaning no slingshots for 0. 1 is for the slingshots. And I'm going to turn the slingshots on because everybody wants the slingshots to work. Tilt warnings. 0 through 3. 0 is no warning. 1 equals 1, 2 is 2, and 3 is 3. So how many tilt warnings they get before their game is over? I'm going to go ahead and give them 2. You can set it up however you like. There we go. Now, to change it from whatever this is to the number you enter, you just remember you want to press the top right button as enter until this pops up in the screen. Now that's all your basic options. Now from here, we're going to go to our feature options. Now, we already reset the factory, so you don't have to worry about that. Recall rockets. Now the next few is going to be recalling rockets, bombs, road values, bonus, and multiplier. What that means is if you are playing the game, let's say you're playing 1, 2, or 3, 4 player, it doesn't matter, and you have rockets remaining and bombs remaining and so on and so forth, recalling it means the game will remember that. So when it's your turn again, all the rockets you've collected, the bombs you've collected, and so on will be remembered, so you get to save them for your next round. Alright? And to save them, you press 1. To not save them, you keep them as 0. But we want all of them set up as 1. Now, extra ball. 0 through 7. When you look at the actual sheet, basically what this means is the controls the number of times that the weapons ramp requires an active light X ball light in the left lane in order to receive an extra ball. Now the factory 7 is... Alright, sorry about that. My battery did die. So, we last left off here within the feature options on extra ball. Now, with extra ball, what this means is this entry controls the number of times on weapons ramp required to activate the light X ball light in the left lane, which gives you the ability to get an extra ball. Now, on the sheet, you're going to find it goes from 0 to 7. 0 meaning it takes 6 times, 1 is 7 times, and so on and so forth. The factory recommendation is number 7, which gives it 1 time. And I'm going to stick with that just because that's what the factory recommends for this particular setting. Okay, so our next one is capture, drop target, release. And this is also a 0 through 7. This entry controls the number of times the captured drop target is hit to initiate the 3-ball play and also activate the release hostage light on the right side of the playfield. Now, this also goes for 2-ball play. And what that is that's the drop target that blocks you from going into the captive ball area. So, without having to hit the target on the far left ramp X amount of times, you can hit the drop target X amount of times to also make it where you can release your hostages or create a multi-ball game. Now, the factory recommends 3 times. This goes from 0 through 7, but I'm going to kind of make it a little bit easier, and I'm going to make it at 6, which is 2 times. So you need to hit that drop target 2 times. Now, what I mean by that is, actually, let's go back a little bit. I was wrong. It's actually for 3-ball. It's not for 2-ball. Because once you get both balls locked into place and you hit that same drop target, it'll automatically reset. So, if you hit that drop target X amount of times, it'll automatically give you the ability to release the hostages on the far right ramp, which is also, I think it's known as the road ramp. But I'm going to do it so you only have to hit it 2 times. So you enter number 6. Next is the road shot. Now, it's a 0 or a 1. At the start of a new ball and off a ball shooter. So, 0 means the road shot is inactive, while 1 means the road shot releases captive balls when release hostage light is flashing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep it at 0. Alright? The reason being is it could release that ball before you want it to be released. It could also screw it all up where you don't get your multi-ball on your second try. It's almost like, will it memorize this or not? So keeping it at 0, remember the ball is stuck in the captive ball. Alright, next will be special setup. And that's 0 through 3. This entry will control what combination of road value lights activate both out lane special lights, okay? And what that means is how many times you basically need to go up through the road value light by point value in order to get your special lights to activate. This one I'm going to keep with factory, which they recommend as number 1, and that's 60,000 points. Alright, so now that's set. Waste rockets. Now, this is a 0 or 1 as well. This entry will enable or disable the launch rocket push buttons during the time respective tank drop targets are already knocked down. What that means is, let's say you drop all 4 targets you can use rockets on. If you have it set at 0, it'll disable this feature, meaning you can't shoot any more rockets if all the drop targets are down, even if you have rockets to use. If you set it to 1, you can keep shooting them all you want, even if the drop target's down. Basically, you're wasting your rockets. I like to set it on 1, which means you can waste them, because it just adds that little bit extra challenge. Now, the game over hold captive balls is also 0 or 1. 0 is ejecting the balls out of the captive saucer, and 1 is retaining the balls. Now, what this means, let's say you get to ball 3, and you game over and you didn't get your multi-ball. If you keep it on 0 like we have right now, the ball that's in the captive ball holder will shoot out at the end of the game and go back into the ball trough. If you set it up as 1, it'll keep that ball in there regardless, and the next player will automatically have that ball set in there. I keep it at 0 because it should reset every time, so you basically have a scratch start finish. So we'll leave that alone as is. The next one is a track sound. Now, this is also a 0 or 1. Basically 0 is no sound and 1 is sound. What this means is, if you have it set up as it is right now, if you press any of the interactive buttons when you're not playing the game, which is the yellow button on the left and the yellow button on the right, the fire rocket buttons, it will not give any sound when it's going through its attract mode. The left button will show you the high scores of today, and the right button will go through a little miniature light flash show showing you all the different play options you can have during gameplay. I always like to put this as 1 so you get that sound. I just think it's kind of cool, so I just like to have the sound involved with it. Alright, and that's the end of the feature options. There is another setting we're going to need to mess with, and it's called the percentage options. I know, I mentioned before, it's like, why mess with the percentages? You're not on location. But, unfortunately, that's where you adjust your threshold. So we're going to go back into here. We're going to go to percentage options. Enter into here. Threshold 1. Now, this is where you can actually change your thresholds. You have a threshold 1, 2, and 3. You don't have to use all 3. You can use only one of them, 2 of them, whichever. Now, what this means is whenever you reach a certain score that you determine, the game will automatically give you what you program for your threshold, either bonus points, an extra ball, or a replay. I'm going to set this up towards factory. And the first threshold should be 1 million. Sometimes the keypad on this one is a little wonky. It doesn't want to work every time. Alright, there we go. 1 million. Alright, so if I get 1 million points, I'll get an extra ball. Threshold 2 is set at 2.5 million, and that's actually a factory recommended setting, and I'm going to keep that way. Same with threshold 1. They recommend 1 million as your first threshold. So I'm going to leave this, and then we're going to go to threshold 3. You can see it set at 0. I do want to have a third threshold, and what I'm going to do on this one is just, let's say 3.5 million. So 3.5, and then make that 3.5 million, just like so. Alright. Now, at this highest score setting, this is basically your high score table. You can set up a high score to begin with right off the bat. So you can make it 0 or whatever you really want. I'm going to make the high score currently, well, let's make it something simple so people can actually get on the board. Again, it's staying in the home. So I'm going to just do 500,000. There we go. And that's the end of the percentage options. Alright? So that was it. Press game. Now, if I press the left button, 500,000. That's the high score to date. And it goes down by 50,000 points for each one. Alright, and you heard that sound come off? That's part of the attract sound. Now, if I press the right button, which let me grab you off the tripod and I can actually give you a better idea what I mean by the attract sounds and the features. Oops, sorry for the bump there. Scoot you out here. Now I press the right rocket button, it'll go through the features. And it gives you sound at the same time. Alright. Well, that's it. That's how you program a Special Force pinball machine by Bally Midway. So, I hope you guys liked the video. I look forward to seeing you all in the next one. Hope you have a good one, and we'll see you next time, guys.